Hey guys, Devin here with Lifetime Preparedness. Today I want to talk to you about the first 6 things that you should do as a new prepper. As your your intro to prepping, these are the first 6 things I think you should do that I would recommend to someone who is new to prepping. With that being said, before we get started, I would like to remind you guys, if you want to go ahead and support the channel, subscribe. Best way to help out the channel. Share with your friends and family so we can get the message out there. Like and comment. I love hearing from you guys and interacting with you. So let's start with number 1. Got a little list here. Bad handwriting, but that's alright. Figure out why you are preparing. If you don't know why you're preparing, then you're just accumulating things. And that's kind of the aspect that a lot of people focus on when it comes to preparing and when it comes to prepping. But you need to figure out why you are prepping. What is the reason behind it? The reason I am preparing is because I would like to be ready for whatever happens, in this long list of possible things that could happen, that are probable and less probable to happen for my family and my loved ones. That way we can, survive at the same comfortability as we are now. I don't want to, obviously, if it's a long-term situation, we will not be as comfortable as we are now. But if it's a temporary thing, a few months or a few weeks or even a few, not a few years, sorry, even if it's 6 months to a year, we could potentially live a very similar lifestyle depending on the situation. So that is why I'm preparing and why I prepare so hard. And that's part of the reason why I want to get this message out to you guys, and so we can get, have the community and we can, share with one another and get more people into prepping. So the next thing is, what is the most likely scenario for you and your family and people in your prepping group, if you are in one? Some people start one right at the beginning. I know a few people who did that. What is the most likely scenario for you and your loved ones? For me, the most likely, I live in the Northeast. I live in upstate New York, south of Albany, but upstate New York, considered still. Regardless, the most likely scenario for me is a winter storm. That's a very strong concern. That does happen. And I have to still go to work during state of emergencies and winter storms. But I like to be prepared for long-term, issues when it relates to that. We could potentially get a really bad snowstorm one year and we could be snowed in for days. I could potentially not be able to make it to work with my car. It may not be possible. So, it all depends on, if they plow the roads and whatnot. But, we could get a bad snowstorm. We could get a hurricane, like we got hit with Hurricane Irene years back when I was a lot younger. And that was pretty bad. Places were closed. There was no power. We had no power for days. We had no power for a few days. We had generators and we had gas put back. And that was just a general preparedness that we always had living in the Northeast and just living in general. Storms come and go. So we were always ready for that. That wasn't really a preparedness thing. We weren't as much into it as we are now. And that was, a really nice thing to have when we didn't have power for days. I can't remember if it was 3 days, 4 days, whatever it was. We didn't have power. Thank God we had a generator, or all of our, food in our fridge and our freezers, they would have went bad. So, figure out what scenario is most probable for you. And yeah, it's possible that North Korea comes and they invade your little town, but it's not probable. It's more probable that a hurricane comes in, or a winter storm, or a tornado, or a flash flooding, and that causes something. Or it's more probable that your loved one loses their job, like your sister or your wife or your husband or whatever, or you lose your job and you don't have money to buy food because you're focused on paying mortgage or your rent so you can stay in your place and have a roof over your head. If you put food back, you don't have to worry about that. That'll cover you for that time. You will not go hungry. Your kids, your loved ones will not go hungry. So that's something to think about, definitely. Number 3, how many people are you preparing for? Me, I am preparing for many, many people. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, some people have, just their immediate family unit, whether that's wife, husband, 1 or 2 kids. Some have, you might have your sisters, your brothers, your cousins. Depends on who you're close to and who you can trust after an event. After something happens, it could just be you and your one neighbor down the road if you live in the middle of the woods, and you would like to be able to help them out as well, or you might want to trade with them, or whatever the case is. You got to figure out how many people you're preparing for and start with the people in your household. That's a good starting point. Prepare for the people in your household and go from there, and eventually, create a prepping group, and then have, people come into that group. You all prepare, some of you prepare, whatever it is. I mean, we all have those people that we're going to take care of no matter what. Whether they prepare or they don't. But there's a lot of people in my life that I've had that conversation with, and you will have to have that conversation with them, some certain people as well in your life. Listen, if you're not going to prepare now, we are not going to help you, or I am not going to help you after an event, because I cannot do that. I cannot take the food out of these people's mouths and my mouth to give to you and your people. It's not doable. Unless they're putting the effort in now, whether it be money for you to get resources, or the training, or whatever it may be. Now, there's some people with certain skill sets that you will let in no matter what. If a ER doctor comes in and he's like, hey, I have nothing, but I'm a doctor, I'm not going to say no after an event. I'm going to say, oh yeah, come help us out. You're going to work, but you're helping us out, and we would love to have you as long as you're a good person. So yeah, figure out how many people you're prepping for and plan accordingly with all supplies, food, hygiene, whatever. Plan accordingly. Figure out how many people you're prepping for. Number 4, learn skills, learn valuable skills. Learn to garden, learn how to garden. Even if you cannot at the moment garden, say you're in an apartment or whatever the case is, work on getting out of that apartment, obviously. Side note, I should have put this as one of them. Get out of the cities. If you live in a city and you're starting to prep, get out of the city. I don't care if your job's there. I don't care whatever the case is. Get out of the city. I don't care if your ex-wife and your kids who live with her live in the city. Get enough money. Figure it out. Get them out of the city. You get out of the city. Yes, it's tough. Figure it out. Get out of the city. Cities are not safe. Look at what happens. Well, look at what's happening now in cities like New York, Philadelphia, Portland, Seattle. The violent crime is going way up, and this is just a little bit of civil unrest. We haven't even started yet. It's unfortunate, but that's the way things are. Get out of the cities. If you're coming into prepping now, get out of the cities. Learn skills. Learn how to garden. Learn how to filter water, whether that be if you have filter. Once you see 4 and 5 are kind of together. 5 is get the things, get the products, stock up on what you need. So that kind of ties in when it comes to water filtration. If you have a Berkey water filter but never use it, and then all of a sudden shtf happens and you need to clean water, and it's still in the box and you're trying to figure out how to use it, or you have a Sawyer Mini and you've never used it and you don't know how to use it and you're trying to figure it out when you need water, that's not what you want. You got to learn the skills, learn how to use it, whether it's building a natural filter or using a Sawyer Mini or a Life Straw, which is the Life Straw. I don't recommend it, but it's usable. And the big Berkey as well, or Berkey, whatever Berkey you have, whatever kind of filter you have, learn to use it. Learn how to shoot. If you have firearms and you don't know how to use them, you shouldn't have firearms. Let me rephrase that. If you get the firearms, you need to learn how to use it. You shouldn't be trying to protect your house without knowing how to use that firearm, because someone could get hurt. So, yeah, get the things. learn the skills, get the things, stock up on what you can while you can. If you have 3 rifles and enough ammo for them, but obviously, say you have 100 rounds each for them and you want that, but you have no food put away and you want more ammo, I don't care. Go get food. Ammo's not going to help you if you don't have food. You're going to be hungry. You're going to be tired. Could die of hunger. Regardless, food. Food, food, food. Get the things, get the supplies, everything that you use on a daily basis. Try to stock up on that. One paycheck at a time. One $5 bill at a time. Whatever you can, stock up. Get the things. 6, do it. Do it. Go out and do it. All these steps, let's go through them again. 1, figure out why you are preparing. 2, what is the most likely scenario for you and your loved ones? 3, how many people are you preparing for? Figure that out. 4, learn the skills. 5, get the things. 6, do the things. Do all of these things. And you know what? I'm going to add another one to this as well. Little side note. Have a plan. Once you start prepping, once you figure out why you are preparing and what is the most likely scenario or scenarios, plural, go ahead and after you figure out how many people you are preparing for, go ahead and make a plan. Make a plan. Because you need a plan. Go out and do the things. Learn the skills, get the things, do the things. Alright? Without that, well, if you don't do any of those steps, you're not getting very far in prepping. The only step that a lot of people do is get the things. Number 5, get the things. A lot of people do that. They just go out and they hoard one thing. I know food's not pretty, guys, but people go out. I know a lot of people that call themselves preppers, and they go out, they buy a few guns, or they have a few guns, and they just load up on ammo. And then they buy more guns and more ammo, more guns, more ammo. Okay, you have guns and ammo. Good for you. What's feeding your family? Other thing, you have guns and ammo. I don't know how many firefights you expect to be in. I mean, you can never have enough guns and ammo, but if you're going to be shooting at someone, they're probably going to be shooting back most of the time. You're going to have guns and ammo, but you're going to have a little tiny first aid kit, which is a couple little band-aids, maybe a couple pieces of gauze and a roll of tape. That's not going to do it for you. If you're going to have guns and you're going to have bullets, if you're going to have the... Bear Independent said it best. He said something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, if you have the ability to create holes, you should be able to plug the holes. Simple. Have medical, have food, have ammo, have guns, whatever you need. I mean, you should obviously have all that. Have what you can. Get what you can while you can now. Go out and do the things, guys. That being said, if you guys want to show support for the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Go ahead, subscribe, like, comment. Love hearing from you, and share with your friends and family so we can get this message of prepping out there. Have a good one.